Dylan.
Hey, Matt.
I know, it's kind of a sad one. This is our first episode after Christmas.
I know, it's my least favorite day of the year, but you know what? I'm keeping a smile on my face because every other year I could be sad on this day. But realizing that we get to talk Christmas at least once a week, every week, all year long, keeps a smile on my face. So I am ready to do this.
Keeps the spirit alive for sure, dude. We were getting wild in the last 48 hours of the holiday on our Instagram page. And I said this on my personal page, but it still stands true. As I was watching over 100 movies this year, I kept count. I watched over 100 Christmas related movies. As I was watching all of them, I kept coming back time and time again to Bill Murray's epic speech at the end of Scrooged and thinking, yeah, that's what this show is really about. Like the idea of, it's not about just celebrating this one day, and it's not about doing good once a year so that you can like carry that on through the rest of the year. It's about doing it every single day and holding on to the feeling that Christmas gives you and making it become a part of you and changing you. And I was like, fuck yeah, that's what Christmas 365 is about, baby.
Exactly. If there's anything I hope to get out from this show to the people, to our listeners, it's that, guess what? You can feel this way every single day of your life. We go back to the community as well. It's the idea that the coldest, longest nights can be the warmest and the brightest. And they truly can. And honestly, every day of your life can be that way, for sure.
And I'm glad you brought up the community episode. Not that there was anything wrong in that episode, but I do want to address an elephant in the room for myself that probably only myself understands, which is that usually I meticulously edit episodes and take a chunk of an hour and 15 minutes of content, and I whittle it down to a good tight 45 minutes, removing silences and ums and ahs or jokes that I didn't think worked. And I had done that with the community episode. And just as I was about ready to export it, the entire editing software crashed and I lost the entire edit. And then I said, fuck it, I'm just going to put the raw audio out.
Hey, and I've heard some feedback from our listeners, and I think the community episode played very well. Hell, it convinced me to rewatch those episodes when I listened to it.
Yeah, I don't think it was a bad episode, and I'm probably going to do the exact same with this episode, but I just want y'all to know that, usually what you're getting is maybe 3/4 of what we actually record, and I make it tight and sound pretty, and I didn't do that for community, and, we're recording this on Saturday for it to come out on Monday, so that's not going to happen on this one either. But
while we are on the topic, hold on, to just a discussion on our community episode. Just a correction. We said that Abed's mother came and visited him on the 13th. It's actually December 9th when Abed's mother would come every year to visit.
Were we thinking December 13th because in the first episode, that's the day that they keep saying it is when Shirley's insisting it's Christmas?
Nope, that was December 10th. I really don't know where we ended up on December 13th, but you know what? I think you said a random number, and I'm like, I don't actually remember. So yeah, December 13th sounds about right. A little peek behind the curtains with us, guys. I didn't say we were the most accurate podcast, but we are the funnest and most merry. So,
I mean, here's the things that I can say about our Christmas podcast. Can I say that we're the most passionate? Probably not. There's a lot of great Christmas podcasts out there, and I wouldn't want to talk ill of any of them. Can I say that we're probably the most explicit one? Absolutely. Can I say that we're the one that's doing an episode every single week and not just sticking within our lane of November to December? Hell yeah, we are.
Yes, we are. I was thinking about that the other day as a lot of the Christmas podcasts I listen to. One specifically that I always bring up, Can't Wait for Christmas podcast, he puts out an episode every 25th of the month. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're doing one once a week. So I would say, yeah, we might not be the most passionate, but we are the most consistent one out there.
Yeah, that's going to be our calling card. So Dylan, let's dive into it. It's the day after Christmas, as you've said already. Kind of the
Yes.
worst day of the year in a lot of cases. But let's reminisce about. I mean, we could talk about our entire December, but that would be pure insanity. So what I want to talk
Yes.
about instead is here's the things that we're going to tackle:
Okay.
Christmas Eve,
Okay.
Christmas Day, and then a recap of things that you watched for the first time this year that you were like, "Hey, this was awesome. I'm going to do this again in the future."
Ooh. I'm gonna make a caveat for that. Things I listen to as well, because
That's fine.
I honestly did not get to watch as much as I wanted to. Where you're saying that you kind of watched like about 100 movies. I didn't even watch Christmas Vacation this year until last night.
Gotcha.
I really didn't get a chance to revisit some of the classics, and I hate to blame it on this, but I honestly blame it on how the school year has gone. And honestly, by the time I got home from work, I was kind of like, you know what? I just kind of want to just scroll through my phone and not think about literally anything.
I mean, here's the thing, and I've said this to you once before, but the positive is that we've got a podcast where we're probably going to revisit a lot of those films that you watch every December, and who knows, May, June, July, some type of random shit.
Exactly, and that's what makes me happy. And honestly, in my younger years, I used to get sad that like, oh, I didn't fit this in. Same with Halloween. Oh, I didn't get to fit in the entire Halloween franchise until I finally realized, dude, you own those movies. You can watch them any time of year, and you can feel the same way. So, yeah, well, things that would bum me out in the past, they're not really bumming me out this year, man. I'm keeping a smile on my face. Let's talk, man. Let's talk about how our Christmases went.
So sure. I'm going to go with my Christmas Eve first because mine was a little weird this year. There was a lot of weirdness this year. It's weird that 2020 had an uncommon Christmas.
Yeah.
But my brother normally, ever since he moved and started dating this one girl whose family lives in Gettysburg, what the normal trend is that he would come home to Gettysburg first. They would spend Christmas Eve in Gettysburg, open the gifts with her family in the morning, and then drive and stay with us Christmas night for Christmas dinner. And we would open gifts with them. And then, he would hang out for a couple days and leave just before New Year's. Due to a bunch of different things, he still came up, but they did the reverse schedule because of my dad's work schedule. Where my brother was like, if I come up and I don't get there until Christmas Day, I literally won't see our dad the entire trip. Oh. So he came up the opposite. The problem was that I had already taken off work for the week between Christmas and New Year's. So he didn't see a whole lot of me. But I also started a part-time job working for a church. And shockingly, Christmas Eve is a very busy day for the church.
Get right out of town.
So I spent most of my Christmas Eve running back and forth from my house to the church because I was producing 3 different live stream events.
Okay.
So that was most of my day. But the big thing that we decided was since he was leaving first thing in the morning, Christmas morning, we were going to open all of our presents on Christmas Eve. And we were going to have a big family dinner. And like by big family dinner, I mean like close family, but a lot of food. So my mom got this like giant ribeye steak that we were just cutting into and having dinner. We had that, mashed potatoes, whatever. But we also had to dress in all pajamas. So we all bought not matching pajamas, but same color scheme pajamas.
Yeah.
So we're all sitting there in our matching color scheme pajamas, eating our ribeye steak dinner. And all of a sudden there's a knock on the door and in walks my Uncle John, who for the last 30 years has dressed up like Santa Claus and visited all of the small children in our family tree.
That's awesome.
On Christmas Eve. But he came to our house because my mom tipped him off that we would be in pajamas. And there's a picture that we love of all of us as kids when he visited us on Christmas Eve. So he showed up so we could recreate the photo 20 something years later. And I've been just staring at that photo for the last 48 hours. I'm like, this is the memory.
That's the one.
That's the Christmas memory. Because like Christmas Day was just kind of like, we sat around and watched TV and then my dad went to work. Yeah. and we ate left. Like it was kind of well, we'll get into it when we get into Christmas Day. Christmas Day took an unexpected turn towards the later half of the day, but for the first, I would say from like 8 a.m. until 3 p.m., it was like any other just day off from work.
Yeah.
But how about your Christmas Eve? What was your Christmas Eve like?
So my Christmas season as a whole, I've been tentatively excited about. And to pull the curtain back a little bit, if you know, you know. If you don't, that's okay too. I went through a lot of life changes in 2020, more than most people in 2020, even though 2020's kind of sucked for everyone. So I was a little nervous going into the holiday season. Just new people in my life, new people that I absolutely love. And you know what? I can honestly say that this Christmas was the greatest Christmas season that I've had in many years. Absolutely incredible. And even though it was so laid back, it didn't, even though you and I started celebrating Christmas back in September, it was still like, oh my God, like Christmas is tomorrow on Christmas Eve. Like, oh my gosh, it kind of snuck up. And I think that goes back to the point, like, we weren't able to go out and do the things I normally would during the Christmas season. Like, events that I would usually attend weren't happening. Parties that I would usually go to weren't happening. So you had to find other ways to kind of enjoy the season. And fast forwarding, I'm getting off on a tangent, but I just wanted to state, like, the Christmas season for me this year was absolutely incredible, and I think the laid backness added to that. So, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I kind of agree. So, wizard behind the curtain with my life is that I currently live with my parents. Hopefully by next Christmas that won't be the case, but I currently live with my parents, and as much as I love and adore them, they are, I will say my whole family tree is maybe leaning more into the mindset that the world is crazy for reacting to COVID the way that they're reacting. I don't agree with that belief, but they may have decided to have like a big gathering the week before Christmas instead of having it on Christmas Day, as if that was going to change the chance of hosting a super spreader.
Yeah.
But what I will say that I did enjoy about that was that I think that that's going to be the new norm for us. Is previously it was like Christmas Day, my mom's entire family tree rolls in here on Christmas night, and it's just chaos until like 11 p.m. with like little kids running around and just like crazy high energy. Having that a week before Christmas and then letting Christmas Day be a little bit more quiet and peaceful
Yeah.
was it was like, oh, we could have been doing it like this for years.
Yeah.
So I think I think that I agree with you. Having like kind of a more chill Christmas Day was actually really cool. I'm hoping that obviously next year we'll have that perfect storm of chill Christmas Day, but just fucking buck wild December.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that's what I want. I want 24 days of chaos and then just a perfect day of just relaxation and enjoyment.
My family is honestly very similar, but to give people an idea of where I live on the eastern shore of Maryland. And the difference in where I live and where most people live is I live in small town, rural America, basically. Like, there are very few people around me. So, I mean, it's taken seriously, but the chances of getting it around here are smaller than the chances of somebody in like a larger city.
In a crazy city.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, my big thing right now is like, and yeah, we'll get into it. Why not? Is that, hey, we've got a vaccine that's out there.
Yeah.
People are, I'm seeing my Facebook page already flood with all of the people that I know that work at hospitals and retirement homes getting those shots. And it's like getting me excited.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, yes, I cannot wait for my opportunity. Like, I am not one of those people. I think there's, not to scare away some of our listeners, but I'm absolutely not one of those people that's like, I ain't getting no vaccine. Like, I will happily, there's very few things that I will happily patriotically jump in line to do, and one of them is get a vaccine to protect everybody that I ever interact with.
Yeah, and I think honestly, as a teacher, I think regardless of if I wanted to or not, I'm definitely going to be
you
up
kind
there.
of have to.
Yeah, kind of having to get it. But stepping away from that, back to Christmas Eve.
Christmas, yes.
Yes, Christmas Eve. It was really low key, honestly. I kind of spent the day hanging out at the house with my cat, Vlad the Emperor, because
I love it.
Yeah, because basically I knew like Christmas Day, he was going to be here all by himself. The day after Christmas today, I mean, I'm here with him right now. You might hear him in the background, but he was here mostly by himself. So I wanted to hang out here as much as I possibly could on Christmas Eve. And honestly, I spent the day playing video games. I was on GTA Online playing their little Christmas holiday festive, whatever. It's snowing in the city and stuff. And then I got contacted by a few friends of the show, Sean Ward of the band
Nice.
Cassettes, of course, and of my own little crew, Spooky Squad, as well as Cody Ryan Brown of Studio House fame.
Another amazing human being.
Yes, for sure. And our buddy Elliot, who lives up in Canada, we all hopped
Don't
online.
know him, don't care.
Elliot's standing out because he lives in Canada. But Elliot's a fantastic dude. But honestly, I wanted to promote the other two because I know what they're doing. But Elliot, if ever in a future show you're hearing this and you want to reach out and be like, hey man, I am in this band or I do this for this company, next time, Elliot, you get brought up, I will promote you. But yeah, like we all hopped online and we're playing this game, The Forest, which is like just a survival game where we like you gotta like find food and find like sticks and stuff to forage, and you're basically living and surviving in this world of cannibals. I mean, it's cool, but what the best part was, like, I'm like, this is how I wanted to spend Christmas Eve with my friends, even though I could not physically hang out with my friends. For the people listening to this, you got to understand, like, Matt and I would usually see these people at Monster Manias or at events that none of them happened this year.
And I think that the other thing that's like, I think you and I both fall into a similar category where we are both the most extroverted people and the most introverted people simultaneously. So It's like we're the social butterfly at a party, but it's also because if we don't stop talking and we realize that there's silence in the room, then we like start to get very self-conscious about it.
Exactly.
So we're used to like every time, like we're used to spending at least one weekend every month or close to it with a giant crowd of people where we are just like center of attention.
Yes.
And you know, we've been robbed that since about March 13th.
Very much so. So honestly, I texted a friend of mine, I think it was noon. I was like, hey, it's Christmas Eve. Is it too early to crack open a beer? And consensus was, no, it's not too early. So I cracked open a beer. I sat down and played video games for 5 or 6 hours with my friends. And then I went to my girlfriend's house. We opened one gift and it was great. Oh, I forgot. That morning we went to the Amish market, the local Amish market in town, and got these amazing stuffed pretzels stuffed with sausage, egg, and cheese. And
ooh, that sounds delightful.
So good. We got chocolate covered gummy bears, which are fire. So highly recommend. Chocolate covered coffee beans and fudge. So we went to the Amish market and then I came home, played video games. And then it was a low key night. We watched the Christmas episodes of The Office because it's her favorite show. And I mean, it's starting to rope me in for sure now. And I love those episodes. Not as much as I love the Community ones, and not as much as I love the 30 Rock ones, which we'll definitely get into soon. Just a hint. But yeah, then we ended the night. I told her one of my favorite Christmas traditions, and I'm sure I'm not the only one out there. I love basically falling asleep to a Christmas Story playing in the background. I put it low key on, and I always put it on when I was a kid because I was that kid who could never fall asleep on Christmas. So I would just put it on and lay down, and eventually I would doze off. So I was like, whatever we do, That's what I want to do. Is I want to put it on right before I'm about to fall asleep. I don't care if we turn it off before we go to bed, but I want to put it on like right when I'm like really getting tired, and then that's what I want to watch when we wake up and open gifts. So it was a really low key Christmas Eve, but it was fucking awesome.
So speaking about opening gifts, let's get into it.
Oh yeah,
did you get a good haul,
dude? Yeah, for sure. Honestly, and I hate that. I'm really self-conscious about using that phrase now because in the first episode we did, I used it a metric fuck ton.
Like, welcome to podcasting. You'll figure it out. You'll catch my terrible one that I don't think anyone notices but me because I have to edit it all the time.
Yeah,
is I go, well, I will say this, and like that is my lead into a new topic. But there's never a need for me. I'm about to say it. I don't know why I have to announce that I will say it because it's happening in real time.
It's like when you're like, question for you.
Yeah. What I actually mean is I have an answer locked and loaded, but I need you to, because it would be weird for me to just spout information. Let me ask a question so you can say, I don't know the answer to that. And then I can say, well, I've got some news for you. Literally right before we hit record, my brother sent me a meme that said, is this meme made by you? You can be honest. And it's two people look like having a conversation. And the one person above it says, my family watching a movie. And then above the other person says, me dropping fun facts about the personal lives of every cast member.
100%. Oh my God. That happens every time. Every time I'm watching something, I'm like, fun fact, this.
Yeah, I can't help it. I'm just like, my brain isn't filled with important things, but it's filled with lots of trivia questions.
Yeah, for sure. Damn it.
Yeah. All right. So why don't you tell me what you for sure got for Christmas?
All right. For Christmas. Oh my gosh. So much. My parents feed into that horror habit in me. Definitely. So basically, what I love about like what I usually get from my parents is they buy me stuff that they know I would not ever buy myself. I've never like a statue guy or an action figure guy or stuff that displays around my house really, unless it's like a poster or a print or something like that. So like some of the stuff I got from them, I got an Ash Williams figure that is done in the style of like the Scooby-Doo characters.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And also the same company did one with Sam from Trick or Treat. So I have both of those. My girlfriend got me a pair of pajama pants that is the original Zelda. She's like, I wasn't sure how into Zelda you were. But I have a mirror set on my wall that's in the shape of a Triforce. So I was like, oh, babe, you've nailed it. Like, fuck yes. I'm so into this. A lot of socks. I'm a big sock guy, like playful socks, like not regular white socks. I don't want anybody to be like, Dylan loves socks for some reason. But I got a pair of Krampus socks that I'm super hype on, even though you hate Krampus.
We'll get into it in a future episode. I don't hate Krampus. I just feel like every time I watch that movie, I think, man, there could be such a better movie.
there could be, but if everybody who's listening, please go listen to the Jersey Ghouls podcast. As they discuss, as we are guests on the show, and Matt gets into his hatred for Krampus.
I hate the mainstream attention that Krampus is suddenly getting, which I feel like is weirdly ironic without being ironic.
Yeah.
But whatever. That's the most hipster sentence I've ever said on this podcast. Yeah. Continue with your gifts.
So I love it. My grandmother bought me an espresso machine, which I'm super hype about.
Nice.
Yeah, so I gotta figure that out. What else? I'm sorry. I'm like also fighting with my cat real quick, but I mean, everything's all good. It's
I mean,
Christmas, whatever.
we'll find this out sometime in late January, early February. But Dylan's missing on a future episode because his cat decided to flood an entire room in the house. So
It's true. Oh God, thankfully it's all fixed now. But
yeah, him fighting with the cat is probably the safest option for him abandoning the cat.
definitely. He's basically sitting here like, okay, you've been out all day, but you're home now and not paying attention to me. What's happening? What's going on? So we're good now. He's over there. Yeah, stay over there. But I also got corgi socks that my mom got me, but I don't own a corgi, but she knows that corgis are my favorite dog. I'm like, if I ever get a dog, it's gonna be a corgi. What else was there? Oh, so this is cool. Our local, I say local, but it's like an hour from me. But again, where I live, nothing is really local. But our comic book shop, Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland, they put together mystery boxes.
Nice.
So like $100 worth of merch in a box. You pay $50, and it's kind of a mystery thing. So it was really cool, man. Like I opened it up, there were a couple pops, there were a couple graphic novels in there. It was really cool because it was a gift that I didn't know what was in it, and neither did the people giving me the gift. Like it was kind of neat that we're all sitting there like, what'd you get? Bunch of Deadpool comics and stuff like that. So I mean, it's all like stuff I would never buy myself, but I'm super stoked to have. You know what I mean?
That's really it's so. This I can't even remember the full details of it, but there was. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, you're still there. Okay, I don't know what just happened, but
I don't know either.
Hopefully we're okay.
I can't wait for this to go up.
Enjoy this raw audio, everybody. So you know what? I'm going to assume that that's like the God saying, "Don't tell this story." Anything else that you?
Oh no! Oh no! Yeah, let's. My girlfriend bought me the Silent Night, Deadly Night soundtrack, the one that was put out recently, or the songs that were in the movie, not the score. And she also got me the first Childish Gambino record on vinyl, Camp, which is
nice.
One of my favorite albums of all time that I, for some reason, did not own on vinyl. So she got me those. She bought me these amazing like horror lanyards that like span the history of horror, and I needed a new lanyard anyway. Are you kidding me? Are you seeing this right now?
I'm still hearing you. I don't know what is happening.
I don't know.
One time we were like, "No, we don't need to record on GarageBand."
This is amazing. So for everybody, like again, everyone listening, it says we lost connection to the server, but we can still hear each other. So I apologize.
Recording. We'll find out. I mean, they might never hear this episode. Who knows? If that's the case, I'll just put out what's supposed to be the following week's episode.
Oh,
but
God.
Anyway, continue. So,
oh God, I got a lot of beard stuff, beard maintenance stuff, from her, and my aunt also bought me beard maintenance stuff because for those of you out there with beards, if you're not using beard oil or beard balm, dude, it's an absolute game changer. It makes it all soft and smooth, and dude, your beard could be looking crazy, man. Look in the mirror, check your beard, use that stuff, man. Help it out. Also, beard wash. Beard wash is essential to soften up your beard and make it all not gross. The ladies love it.
So my family started doing this thing a couple of years ago called Elfster. Are you familiar with Elfster at all?
That's not the thing where you put like a picture of your face on an elf, is it?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say my mom does that too. It's like I forget what the company's called.
That's called Jib Jab.
Yeah.
So Elfster, I forget how we first found it, but it was something that came about when my sister was about to get married, and money was going to be awkward that year.
Yeah.
So instead of doing the normal Christmas shopping, we did like a Pollyanna with the family. And Elfster allows you to put together a list of gifts, and then it'll shuffle for you and email you, hey, this is the person who you drew, and here's their gift list.
Okay.
So we did that for like 1 or 2 years, but then we found out that you could still look at each other's Elfster lists, whether you were assigned that person or not. And you could check off if you purchased something so no one else also bought that gift. So now we all just use it so that we know what each other wants for Christmas.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's very convenient. So I am, as I said earlier, planning to move out of my parents pretty soon. So in my mind, it was like, oh, I want to kind of get stuff for the house. But like the flip side is like, I don't know when I'm moving out. I don't know what my house is going to be like. I've got 1,000,001 questions. I don't need a couch right now that I don't have anywhere to put it. So I loaded up on the one thing that is small enough to have in abundance, and that is coffee mugs.
Yeah. Dude, hold on. Pause. I'm so sorry. But like I'm gonna lose my mind if I forgot about this. One of the coolest gifts I got yesterday from Taylor was a coffee mug. Okay. It's got the lightsabers of like all the most well-known Jedi on it. Like Love the lightsaber like handles. And then when you put coffee in it, the fucking lightsabers come up, dude.
That's fucking
awesome. Oh my god, so cool.
Well, now all my mugs are going to sound like jokes in comparison.
I'm sorry.
So I put a bunch of these coffee mugs on my Elfster list, and I'm going to start with this one wasn't on my Elfster's list. This was someone else just bought it for me because they're like, you need this mug. And it was a Luke's Diner mug for Gilmore Girls.
Nice.
Yeah, so happy to have that.
Yes.
But then my family got me, I got 2 Schitt's Creek coffee mugs, one that's just a mug from the Rosebud Motel, and another one that has a picture of Moira on it, and it says, "Bebe, it's cold outside." But I wanted to get some like horror mugs, so I'm looking on Elfster. It's connected to Amazon, so you type in like horror mugs, and it'll bring up like everything that comes up in that, and you just click add to my list, and it'll have like the link, so people just have to click that, and it takes it right to the link to buy it. So when I was looking for horror mugs, I saw one that was just a bicycle that said the Losers Club established in 1958. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, I like the book It. So I added that to my list. But then there was these weird mugs that have nothing to do with horror movies. And I decided, as much as I would love to have a bunch of weird horror and TV show mugs, I really think the mugs that I want are mugs that like a 90-year-old woman would have in her kitchen. And my brother came through and bought these 2 mugs that I kind of just threw on my list as a joke. But one is a picture of a gnome, and it just says, "I heart gnomes."
Yes.
And the other one is a picture of a ferret, and it says, "World's greatest ferret, Mom," which immediately has jumped to my favorite mug list. I got 2 CDs because, as listeners will figure out very quickly, I am a physical media maniac. So the 2 CDs I got were the Dollyrots Because I'm Awesome.
Ooh,
and
good record.
Dollyrots are great. I never owned that CD, but I love like 3 or 4 of the songs I've heard off of it. And this is another thing that you'll learn about me, listeners. So I produce a podcast called One Hit Thunder. And the reason why I produce that podcast is because I love digging into the back catalogs of one hit wonders and tend to find songs that I adore. So I got the album The Golden Age by the band Cracker. Now you might be thinking, oh, the band that does that song Low that I remember from the 90s. Yes, that's not on this album. This is the follow-up album that actually has my favorite Cracker song, which was their failed follow-up single, I Hate My Generation, which has a fucking fire guitar riff that kicks off the song. And I highly recommend you all check it out. I got a book about the life of John Candy because for whatever reason, we all found weird ways to deal with the pandemic. For me, mine was reading about 80s comedy. And then I got the complete Schitt's Creek DVD collection. I got a season of Game of Thrones, so I'm almost done my like collection of Game of Thrones DVDs. And my brother got me the box set of every episode ever produced of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then the last thing, this wasn't on my Elfster list, but my sister saw it and said she had to buy it for me. And I'm super excited, but I'm not going to open it until I have my own house. It is 4 Star Wars puzzles to build. One is a giant landscape that is like all of the movies in one photo, and then
Yeah.
the other three are the original movie posters for New Hope, Emperor Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi.
Very
So
cool.
yeah, so like that's kind of one of those things where it's like I want to actually put those puzzles together, do the puzzle glue and like frame them. So like I'd rather not do all of that and then have to like move it to another
Yeah,
house. Like,
definitely.
so
Definitely.
that one's gonna say, "Oh shit!" And my mom, a late gift arrival today. My mom bought me it's a canvas painting. So I
Yeah.
thought it was a poster at first. It's a canvas painting of Stan Lee's face made up of all of the Marvel characters.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's another one where it's like, please put that back in the box, and I will hang that as soon as I have a wall in which to hang it on. But I don't want it just laying around, risking getting damaged in the canvas.
Yeah,
But
and honestly, you telling me about your gifts kind of jogs my memory. Listeners, you're gonna have to understand that my memory is garbage, specifically short term wise, which is why like I went through like my Christmas Eve, and then I was like, wait a minute, what did I do in the morning? Oh, we went to the Amish market, and it was a great time. I apologize, but yeah, some other stuff. All the DVDs and stuff that you got. I didn't get any DVDs or movies, but I did get the game Cyberpunk 2077.
I saw that post right before we record it.
Yeah,
I'm excited to hear how you enjoy it.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of negative feedback. Unfortunately, because I was super excited for this game, and I think everybody was. And I think that might be partially where the negative feedback is coming from. I think so many people had it so hyped up in their heads. And
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that the internet, here's the thing. I love the internet. I think that the internet is how you and I have remained friends outside of just seeing each other twice a year.
Yeah.
And the internet gives us a lot of great things. But I think that the internet can sometimes also be this very toxic place where creative people who aren't creative get very angry at creative things if they don't go exactly the way that they want it to.
Yeah.
And I think that happens a lot where it's like, yeah, it's a game. There might be bugs.
Yeah.
They'll fix the bugs in time, but like you getting all bitchy about it isn't going to fix it any faster.
Exactly. The thing in my mind is like we grew up in a time where if you bought a game and it ran like shit, that sucks. Tough. I mean, all right. And now people are getting refunds for it. I mean, I don't honestly get it. I don't understand. I mean, games have been coming out in this state for a while now. Do I think it's right? No, but I mean, it's going to continue to happen. They're going to put out a patch in January. It's probably going to run perfectly fine once that patch comes out. I want the same exact energy that people are having when Bethesda puts out the new Elder Scrolls game, when we finally get that follow-up to Skyrim, because those games ran like garbage when they first come out.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're talking about the same group of people, like whether you liked or disliked the ending of Game of Thrones, putting together a change.org to demand that HBO reshoot it, like, get over it.
Yeah, okay. The ending sucks. All right, that sucked. Move on.
Yeah. I mean, and there's nothing, I hate, and this, look, you and I have definitely been burned by shows whose endings we didn't love, but I hate the idea that it retroactively negates everything that was ever great about the show. Like, I think that the final episode of Dexter is one of the most god awful things I've ever watched in my entire life. But does that mean that season 1 and 4 aren't like the most incredible like seasons of television I've ever seen? Like,
that's so funny you brought that up. So I know I keep talking about her, but my girlfriend Taylor is a huge Dexter fan and just finished rerunning the show all the way through. And I had never watched it before, but I caught bits and pieces. But I do remember like the full blown backlash that happened when the season finale came out. And I asked her, I was like, so is it just as bad as everybody was saying it was? Because I probably will never watch it. And she's like, yeah, it's just as bad as everyone said it was. But I still really like that show. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. And I mean, How I Met Your Mother was such an important show to me when it was airing. And that last episode I also thought was not what I want it, but like I'm still gonna always have great memories of the first like 5 seasons of that show. So like I don't know, I think you can be unsatisfied with an ending and still enjoy the journey that got you there. I don't
Dude,
understand why the internet.
Attack of the Clones is one of the most god awful fucking movies I've ever seen. Sorry, not awful. It's the most boring fucking movie I've ever seen. And guess what? I fucking love Star Wars, and I will continue to.
Well,
Like,
I forget. I think it was on another Geekscape podcast. I'm pretty sure it was another Geekscape podcast because I listen to a lot of Geekscape podcasts. But like, someone was talking about how people are bitching that like Disney's making all these Star Wars products, and like they're like they've got like 10 projects. They're going to ruin something. And he's like, here's the thing. I love Star Wars, so if it's bad, I don't have to think about it. But if it's great, it's a beautiful gift to me. So like,
yeah, I mean, it's the people that hate on remakes. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
dude,
yeah, they're not going to bust in your door and take your original copy of that movie. You can watch it yeah. All right. Anyway, sorry, we got on a crazy tangent.
Off our soapbox.
all because of Cyberpunk. But let's talk about and I'll go first because mine, like I said, was kind of low key. But let's talk about Christmas Day real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, my brother basically got up and left right at 8:00. We said our goodbyes, and he was off to Gettysburg. And then I just kind of I had watched every Christmas thing that I needed to watch. So then it was just like, well, let me revisit some of the ones that I love. And then I knocked out a few episodes of some TV shows that we might be talking about in the coming months, so I could jot down some notes. But at around 3:00, the plan was that my 2 sisters were going to come by for leftovers.
Yeah.
And then my mom got a call from her brother who had come over the night prior dressed as Santa Claus. And it was basically just him, his wife, and his daughter. And they didn't really have any plans. And my mom was like, well, we've got leftovers. Come over. So it was just my mom, my sisters, myself, my uncle, his wife, and their daughter. And we had food and we were kicking back memories. And my uncle is an incredible piano player. He's actually the founder of Philadelphia's like highest rated party band. This band called Chico's Vibe. Go and check them out if you're ever getting married. They're an incredible wedding band, a little expensive, but they're worth every dollar. So he just sat at the piano and just started like tickling the ivories a little bit.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he starts playing the 12 Days of Christmas. And next thing I know, we are having a giant family sing-along of the 12 Days of Christmas with each one of us taking a different one of the things on the list. And it was so much fun.
That's awesome.
And then we dug out the old VCR and we hooked the VCR up to our TV. And I have a box in the basement of all these old home videos from the 90s that my grandfather was filmed before he died. So we brought that box up and just started watching these old home videos. And it was just this lovely, like we were laughing, we were crying, we were having a great time. And then everybody left except for my mom and my little sister and I. And we decided to watch Soul on Disney Plus. And it was
how was it?
Beautiful. It's very good. I would say that's probably in my top 5 Pixar movies.
Nice.
I wasn't like my top 2 Pixar movies though are like unmovable right now. Because it's Coco and Onward.
Yeah.
And it's not because they were the most recent movies I watched, but they were the ones where it was like, I get that, like, yes, I cry when I watch Up because it's designed to make you cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I cry when I watch Inside Out because it's designed to make you cry. Soul is definitely designed to make you cry, but it didn't make me cry. But like Coco and Up hit me in like a personal, it like brings back a lot of like fond special memories in my past. So it's like that very human connection that I have with it.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Soul is another fantastic example of Pixar's ability to market a movie without telling you anything about that movie.
Yeah, so I have no idea what it's about.
Yeah, I was going to say, whatever you think Soul is about from the trailers that you watched, I thought I knew what Brave was about until I actually sat down and watched Brave.
Yeah.
Pixar, I genuinely think, is the most brilliant marketing company because they also, so many of their trailers are just made up of scenes that aren't actually in the movie. Or they'll just be little teasers of like the Toy Story 4 stuff I think of, where Toy Story 4 was just a series of teasers that were just like fake commercials for toys that had nothing to do with the actual plot line of Toy Story 4. Like,
Yeah.
they are very smart with knowing we're Pixar, you're going to go see our movie, so there's no reason that we're going to spoil this movie for you. We're just going to give you a very, very brief synopsis, and then you go in and really enjoy what we're trying to say. But yes, Soul is worth watching. Not exactly going to be. We'll dive into like things that we're going to watch every December. I'm never going to connect Soul as like a December movie. I'll just remember watching it with my family. But I think the fact that it was Christmas Day will fade from memory over the years.
It might. I mean, I have those things that have absolutely nothing to do with Christmas that make me think of Christmas. One of which we've talked about before is 30 Rock. I mean, there's Christmas episodes, but I always watch it around this time of year. I always watch it around Thanksgiving. Like there's things that I did around this time of year in the past that make me think of Christmas now when I do them. One of which we're actually going to get into in a couple weeks. The game Bully. I got it for Christmas. There's a level that's about Christmas, and it's something that's stuck with me throughout the years, and it always makes me think of Christmas. South Park. I don't think it's just the snow. That show makes me think of Christmas. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the overabundance of Christmas episodes, like we got one almost every year for a while.
I did not remember how many Christmas episodes there were. There is an unreasonable amount. All right, so how about your Christmas Day, though?
Oh, okay. So my Christmas Day was, again, kind of low key. Woke up in the morning. I stayed with Taylor, so we woke up and did gifts there for me and her. And then, so every year, my mom gives us, it's kind of a tradition in a lot of people's houses. The Christmas Eve gift is like a Christmas Eve pair of pajamas. Like, these are the pair of pajamas that you wear the night before Christmas. And she was like, well, since you guys are staying at her house, can you send that night? She was like, can you send me a picture of you guys in your pajamas? Well, I don't know if anybody remembers the temperature on Christmas Eve, but it was like 60 degrees outside, at least around us.
Insane. It was insane how hot so, like, yeah, you know, sometimes you have trouble sleeping at Christmas time because you're super excited about Christmas time. I was really struggling to sleep on Christmas Eve because I was sweating under all of the winter blankets that I had set for myself because it's freaking winter time and it should be cold.
Exactly. So she's like, can you send me a picture of you guys in your pajamas? Now, these pajamas are the traditional, like, plaid, red and black, like, pair of pants and button down shirt that it was way too hot to be wearing Christmas Eve night to bed. So I was like, hey, we're gonna have to send this picture in the morning. So what we did was we basically woke up, got cleaned up, put on pajamas to take the picture because my mom is super extra. So and there was not good lighting at my girlfriend's house. So in our pajamas, we drove to my house, which we already had to do because I had to feed the cat. But we drove here, took the picture of us in our pajamas and sent it to her, then got ready. And my dad always does a big breakfast for Christmas, always cooks a big breakfast, sausage, eggs, bacon, potatoes. I mean, huge breakfast. It's super delicious. So we did breakfast at their house and then did gifts with them. My grandmother comes over on Christmas Eve and stays the night. And once again, like, everybody listening, you got to understand, I live in a very small town. Like, everyone was quarantining before this. I don't want anybody to think like, oh, Dylan doesn't care. No, we were like, it was very low key. Literally, these are the people that I'm around, basically.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I'll just be happy a year from now when we don't have to worry about how to safely have Christmas. We can just fucking have Christmas.
Exactly.
This was like, I was very much like, I'm the same way as you. I take this very seriously. I was content with losing my Christmas or losing my Halloween. I couldn't care less about losing my Thanksgiving, whatever with Easter. This was the one that hurt. This was the one where it's like, this sucks. Like, there's no two ways about it. Not being able to just be with like a big crazy Christmas party at all this year was torture.
And that's my thing, is like, my Christmases and I'll get back to this year in a minute, but my Christmases are usually super low key. It's the month around it. Like
Yeah.
my buddy Jason, who runs Icon versus Icon, has a huge Christmas party every year. Didn't have one this year. I usually end up going to Christmas Town at Busch Gardens. That didn't happen this year. There's a Winterfest in King's Dominion that we usually go to. That didn't happen this year. Honestly, like the our area is a big area for like farmers markets and bazaars and stuff like that. A lot of them, spoiler alert, didn't happen this year. So it's like a lot of these traditions that I'm so used to doing over the years didn't happen because of that, which is another reason like I was kind of worried, and I was kind of not in the Christmas spirit until I like sat down and was like, well, dude, what is Christmas actually? Like some self-reflection.
Yeah.
Almost.
Well, I posted a you can do those like ask me a question thing on Instagram. And my uncle asked a question on there, and he said, why do we have Christmas? And I shared the old photo of us as little kids standing around him when he was dressed as Santa. And I said, so we can have memories like this. And he wrote back, exactly.
Yeah, that was a great photo, by the way.
Yeah, like I think that's the real, like for us. It's like I literally was just talking to maybe we'll get him on the podcast in 2021. But we've had his co-host Joshua from Fright School.
Yeah.
He never really celebrated Christmas. It was never a big day for him. But since he couldn't really do anything this year, he took people's suggestions of movies that he absolutely should watch and Christmas specials that he should absolutely watch. And he literally spent 24 straight hours, Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, just having a marathon of it.
Nice.
And live tweeting about it. And I was talking to him afterwards. He's like, I get it now. I get it now. And I said, I think the problem with me is as a kid, I was all about the Santa Claus stuff. But like as I've gotten older, I am so much more drawn to like the movies and the specials and the songs about like spending time with family, the love of like the loving nature of people at Christmas time. Like I don't get me wrong, I'll get fucking ballistic when I see Santa Claus and I'll get super hype. But like that's not what the holiday's about for me anymore. Like if I went the whole year and didn't see Santa at Christmas time, I'd be fine because it's more important for me to see my family.
Yeah. And I think like one of the big things that was bothering me this year is everybody's struggling financially. I mean, 100%. The COVID has destroyed a lot of people financially, and other issues that I've been going through have not been helping with my finances either. And I felt bad because my dad he goes all out for Christmas. If you have mentioned that you wanted something, you're getting it for Christmas. Like, I mean, our piles were always huge growing up, and that's been ingrained in me. Like, I want to provide that to everyone. Like, not like I want to be able to blow you away with what I'm able to give you for Christmas. I want to make your Christmas memorable, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, for sure.
And like, I was able to do that for one person this year. And of course that was Taylor. And everything turned out fine with everybody else. I was able to get other people things. But one of the things that was bumming me out was I wasn't able to go all out like I usually do Christmas wise, and give everybody things. But getting back to my Christmas, last night was an eye-opening reminder of what the holidays are really about. So let me get back to my Christmas. So we had breakfast with my parents and my grandmother. I took Taylor back to her house so she could spend some time with her family and have dinner with her family and stuff like that. And then we ended up back at my parents' house, and my aunt and uncle had joined us with their daughter. And basically we're all just sitting around and we're all just talking and laughing. And my niece had gotten this game called what was it called? Hackin' Packin' Alpaca. And you like put water in it in the alpaca, and the goal is to start the timer and put something on the alpaca's back and then stop the timer. But if you run out of time, the alpaca spits on you. Like, so it's the silliest shit I've ever seen, but it has been months since I have laughed as hard as I did last night. Like, I mean, we're all just sitting around this table playing this game. And it was a realization that, you know what, dude, like, as crazy as things have been, you may not have been able to go all out as much as you'd wanted to. But this is what Christmas is all about. Just like spending time with the people you love, just feeling the love and giving that love to others. So, I mean, best Christmas. Eva's low key, but honestly, the best Christmas I've had in a long time, dude. A long
That's
time.
that's awesome. We are running a little long, so
Yeah.
let's dive in real quick with things that you discovered this year that are definitely going to become part of your yearly routine.
All right. So, things that I discovered this year that are going to become part of my yearly routine. Honestly, we discussed it on the very first episode of this podcast. Let It Snow.
Hell yeah.
Is definitely going to be something that I squeeze in. Unfortunately, I did want to watch it again before the season was over. I didn't get to, but it is something that I'm going to watch every year. And honestly, as we talked about before, the Christmas isn't really overbearing. So honestly, it's a movie you could really watch any time of the year and not feel like, oh, I'm not supposed to be watching this. If you're one of our listeners and you haven't watched it yet, check that out. Honestly, I think Last Christmas might make it in there just because of how bonkers it was.
It's insane. I love it. It's so crazy.
So, Joe, if you're listening, sorry, Last Christmas is on there.
Yeah, stay tuned, listeners. Some of you may have gotten to witness the live streaming, but for those of you who didn't, we will be dropping that in the feed. I've already decided it's episode 10. It's got to be. Why not?
For
So
sure.
Episode 10 is going to be our last Christmas episode.
Definitely. A few other things. Unfortunately, whenever I discover something Christmassy, I like to bring it up on the podcast. So either you've heard about these things, listeners, or you're going to hear about these things in a future episode. One of the things is Hyrule Christmas, a very Hyrule Christmas, which is a Christmas album set in the world of The Legend of Zelda, and it's done with complete sincerity. That's something that was instantly added to my playlist, and I'll listen to every year. Same in relation to in relation to that is a video game Christmas, which is put out by Game Chops and T Lopez, which is just 8-bit lo-fi hip hop fused Christmas songs with different video game themes. And I absolutely love it. It's only 4 tracks long, but I listened to it nonstop this year. What about you, Matt? What are some things that you discovered this year that is going to be part of your Christmas traditions from here on out?
So, I mean, obviously, that's almost all going to be movie and TV specials. So let's see. We got John Denver and the Muppets of Christmas Together. I never actually watched the special before, but it is charming as fuck. So that's definitely.
I don't think I've seen the special either. So
it's on YouTube. Netflix dropped a mini series called Dash and Lily that was really, really charming. It was basically Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, the Christmas edition. I don't even know why they did it as a TV series, not a movie, because it was like 10, 20-minute episodes. So it's like, all right, trim it down a little bit and make it a movie. I mentioned this previously, but I'll Be Home for Christmas with Jonathan Taylor Thomas is definitely getting thrown into the regular rotation.
That is a personal favorite that has been part of my traditions for quite a while.
For my friend Marie Maloney, she did a podcast. She started a new podcast called I Love Trash, and she was kind enough to invite me on the show to watch Princess Switch 2, Switched Again for the second time this year. And you know what? That song's really charming, or that movie's really charming, and it introduced a couple Christmas songs into my life that I probably should have already known. So we will get into that on some future episodes. Controversially, I was one of the people who really did like Happiest Season. I know that there is some very split opinions on that movie, but I was a fan.
Yeah, I think we got into. I think we briefly talked about it either on our live episode or the episode with Jersey Ghouls that we did. I liked the movie as a whole. Again, I don't want to get too much into it because I'm assuming we're going to talk about it in a future episode.
There will definitely be an episode for sure, yeah.
But I liked it, but I do have issues with our main characters. And I'll leave it
for sure. For sure. Yeah, there's things that are worth diving deeper into. And then the only other big one, my friends Chrissy and Lauren introduced me to an old BBC special called Robbie the Reindeer in Hooves of Fire, which is from the guys who did Shaun the Sheep. And it is a very weird claymation special about Rudolph's son trying to make it as a reindeer. But he gets really annoyed because his opinion is that it's the ultimate job because you only have to work one day and then 363 days of the year you just chill out. And gets really annoyed when he finds out that he has to get in shape and work out all those days of the year so that he's strong enough to pull the sleigh. It's a very bizarre, very British.
So you bring up British, and I want to give a shout out. This isn't something I discovered this year. I discovered it a couple years ago, but it does not get talked about enough. I discovered it from Rebecca McKendry. One of her podcasts. I don't remember if they were Killer POV still or what was the new one that they did?
Oh, there's there's
not the newest POV. One.
There's Shockwaves and now there's Colors in the Dark.
Yes.
But yes.
What was brought up was a British, I don't want to say sci-fi. It's very like Twilight Zone-y, but it's not always sci-fi. It's called Inside Number 9. And the episode that I really want to recommend to everybody is called The Devil of Christmas. And it's basically a guy doing a commentary on a 1977 Christmas special that he was a part of. But there are many, many dark twists and turns, and I highly recommend it for our mature listeners, honestly. But definitely The Devil of Christmas episode of Inside Number 9. So, Matt, you need to watch that too, because that is definitely something we need to discuss very soon.
All right. Sounds good. I'm excited for that. And Dylan, you ready for Christmas 2021, baby?
Dude, the countdown begins right now. So it is Saturday, December 26th. We are 363 days away from Christmas. And by the time you're hearing this, we will be 361 days away, and I'm so fucking excited.
It'll be a cakewalk. Guys, a lot of other Christmas podcasts are wrapping it up right now. We're just getting started. We have such a full back catalog for you guys. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I hope you stick it out. I hope you keep joining us week after week. I love that so many of you dove into this weird idea just in those first 5 episodes. And I hope that you stick around because we've got so many fun ideas up our sleeves. We will be back next Monday with more Christmas 365.
Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, oh. Now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Happy holiday, have a great, great, great holiday. Have a merry happy holiday.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network. You're listening to the Geekscape Network.